My name is Dr. Jim Powell, chiropractor here in Canton, Ohio.
And I'm Dr. Chip Null, also a chiropractor here in Canton.
We'd like to welcome you to Before the Scalpel. We have a unique program here at Powell Chiropractic Clinic, the only clinic in the United States with this exact program, and we have a 90% success rate.
And we call it spinal decompression therapy, also known as the Discovery Program here at Powell. Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome back. Episode 4, The Pain That No One Can See.
This is huge because when I went to chiropractic college, I never knew that part of my job would be psychiatry.
Correct.
The emotional and the mental stress that these patients go through from the things they're suffering from, I had no idea. You know, when we learned in school, we always take what they call a pain scale. So when you rate your pain, you rate it from 0 to 10. So 0 would be no pain.
Right.
10 would be the most horrific pain you could ever imagine. As a matter of fact, when they said if somebody's telling you they have a 10, most of the times they're suicidal.
Correct.
And that, for me, I thought, I never knew somebody could hurt that bad that they would consider taking their own life.
Right.
So that emotional component is huge, not only in their injuries, but in getting them better.
Correct.
Yeah.
The nervous system is so unique. So as an example, you go into a bedroom and there's a fan blowing air, and the fan is hitting the fan guard. So when you first go in the room, you can hear it. After you're in there about 5 minutes or so, you tune out the fan. The term for that is accommodation. So you accommodate to the stimulus. So chronic pain rewires the brain.
That's right.
It changes how the brain functions, how it assesses. It changes the personality.
Well, and imagine all those changes and dealing with pain and then not being able to do your job, especially those that have a physical job. Well, it doesn't even have to be physical. Now we sit so much nowadays with technology, our necks and posture is terrible.
Right.
But being a father, being a husband, being a son, being a grandfather, you know, it affects and impacts all of those things. You can't do them effectively. And sometimes it damages relationships, and people lose their jobs, they lose their life. So pain, chronic pain, consistent pain is terrible, terrible.
That chronic pain, patients don't intend to do this, but they take it out on the people that are closest to them.
Oh, they sure do.
And the relationships are so strained.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we've seen husbands and wives split up, not because of any major aspect to the marriage, but because one of them is in such pain, they take it out on the other person,
That's right.
unknowingly pushing them away.
Well, I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the leading causes of drug and alcohol abuse is low back pain.
Correct.
You know, and so opioids, which are medicines that are given to people to handle pain, people end up abusing those. And so how great of an impact is it for somebody to come here and get their pain treated naturally, not only naturally, but get it eliminated altogether and save all those other issues. So.
And the addiction component of the opioid is epidemic.
Yep.
And when they can't get the scripts anymore, they go to either illegal drugs or heavy alcohol.
Yes.
Which just leads them down a
the wrong path.
further deeper hole.
Right. So how important then is that referral?
Correct.
About of a friend, a loved one that says, you got to try here first.
Right.
Especially those that we were just talking about in the last episode. Surgery is your only option.
Right.
Okay. So you can bet a high percentage of those folks are in the state of mind like we just talked about, not just mentally like that, but physically.
Right.
Yeah.
So the combination of what we do, and Dr. Null is going to demonstrate one of the tools that we use to try and help alleviate the bone subluxation is what we call it, but it's locked up.
Yes.
And so if the disc itself is damaged and the joint on either side is stoved up, if you will,
Yeah.
We got to get that joint freed loose, and not everybody can handle or do a normal adjustment, which is not painful, but they're already in so much trouble.
That's right.
That any pressure whatsoever is just entirely too much.
Yeah, and so this instrument that we have here, it's called an Impulse IQ. We've been using this, what would you say, 10, 12 years now?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so you have these two probes here that contact the skin that go on either side of the bone in question that we want to adjust.
Right.
And so as you place it on there, it's just a simple, specific, you can hear that noise, that tap, and then there's a beep. That inside this instrument is a highly specialized computer chip that gauges temperature and muscle resistance. And so when that temperature and muscle resistance that could be high and tight is changed, the instrument automatically shuts off. So not only is it gentle and specific, but it's specifically gauged to only give the impact it needs to move that bone back into position.
Correct.
I mean, this thing is huge.
Yep.
It works great.
One of our one of our very good friends, Chris Koloka,
Yep.
invented this.
He did.
And interestingly enough, it's not the first chiropractic instrument ever in existence.
True.
So it's
Good
been
point.
a series over 40 years of slow, steady improvements.
Yes.
Inside the nose cone of this device is a thing called a piezoelectric sensor. The piezoelectric sensor measures resistance. So if the spinal bones in question are locked up, when the tap hits the locked up joint, it moves at a different frequency than a joint that's flexible.
Correct.
So the tapping of the instrument is analyzed every single tap. As soon as that resistance changes, the instrument shuts itself off. Very unique.
Very unique. And just a plug for Dr. Koloka, he's from NYCC, New York Chiropractic College, where I went. So,
Graduated from
greatness is,
NYCC,
there you go.
alumnus.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But what it just goes to show, as much as we are of a philosophy-based practice,
Correct.
we are very scientific. And this is one example of the science out there because, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the only chiropractic instrument that's FDA approved.
Correct.
Okay, so was it 10 years it took to get this thing approved as far as going through? And they would work on live patients under
Yes.
surgical conditions
Correct.
to determine what the proper impact was for the spine that would help correct the position of the bone to move it specifically.
So I had the opportunity to talk to Chris about his program. So he had to go to Norway. The surgeon that he worked with gave the cost of the treatment, the surgery to the patient,
Okay.
was complimentary to the patient as a gift or as an opportunity for Chris to use this instrument. So what he did is he opened up the spine, he put a EMG or electrical muscle graph loop around the nerves of the spinal nerve that was damaged. He put a small steel rod into the body of the bone,
I remember that.
put
yes.
the instrument on the steel body, and would give it a tap. And they slowly increased the force of the tap from very, very slight to a little more
Okay.
until the nerve fired. And so they established how much force would it take to get the nerve to fire. So an FDA approval was quite extensive. Anything that's FDA approved is
yeah.
very, very intensive. Double-blind, placebo-based research papers have to be performed to get that.
Yes.
Not all medications are FDA approved.
No,
Not all
that's
surgical
right.
procedures are FDA approved.
Right.
So this is just one tool, and everything that we have in this clinic that we use is all well researched and well documented on its effectiveness.
Well, and maybe elaborate a little bit on how we found out about this instrument.
My cousin's a chiropractor in Georgia, and he unfortunately had to have surgery because he's had many different injuries. He had
Yes.
surgery on his elbow,
Yeah.
different areas, so
Yeah.
he can't practice anymore.
Right.
So his spine was so jammed and so challenged from car accidents that he's been in that he really couldn't handle a normal adjustment.
Right.
So he researched it.
Yeah.
He put all the effort into it, came up to visit, brought it with him,
Yep.
and said, "This thing's so cool, I'm going to give you mine
Yep.
for 60 days and use it on your
Yes.
patients." We had other instruments in the clinic at the time.
Oh, absolutely.
And at first, we're like, oh, that thing doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, we found out it does.
Wow.
And so we now have one in every treatment room in the clinic.
That's right. And not to say that we don't still use our hands to manually
Correct.
manipulate, skilled manipulation, because myself and I thrive on it, and I also like that type of treatment. So when we first had this, I agree with you. I thought, what's this going to do? Now I actually prefer this over manual because it's so specific.
Right.
So this is an option that not many chiropractors have. Not that they don't have instruments, but this highly specific instrument. As Dr. Jim just explained, this is how we how it came to being.
Right.
So.
And
awesome.
the same thing with the combination of care that we use. The decompression machine has FDA approval for treatment of a non-surgical herniated disc, well documented,
Yes.
pre and post MRIs where they see changes at multiple different universities.
Yes.
The laser, it's FDA approved for low back pain relief, is one of the FDA approvals of the low-level laser that we use. Not all lasers are the same.
No.
The brand that we use is Arconia. It is the far greatest, most researched laser out of all of them. It happens to be the most expensive of all of them.
Yeah.
But you have to pay for the quality, I guess.
It's investment. It's investment.
Correct.
For sure. Yeah.
But skilled adjustments of the spine, I use my hands. We also use the table.
Yes.
We use gentle forces. So
Yeah.
there's lots of things that we use in addition to this.
Absolutely.
But this is a tool that not too many folks know about, or the chiropractic doctor may not have. We've been blessed. My father started this in 1970, his father-in-law, and
Yeah.
he reinvested back in the clinic and was able to get tools that the average chiropractor wouldn't have or
No.
wouldn't have the ability to buy.
Well, and Dr. Powell Sr., of course, because of all of his own health challenges, that was a reason why he came across a lot of these alternative treatment methods.
Correct.
He suffered and found ways to get better from other chiropractors, but also all the alternatives out there that, because some of the traditional stuff in chiropractic may not have necessarily worked at the time.
A great story. My dad found benefit in a piece of equipment that we use in this program called MedX, and we'll go into greater information about that in a later episode. But so he researched it, found a friend of his that had one in Denver, Colorado, and flew to Denver on a regular basis to get care. Bought the first lumbar MedX machine in Ohio. It was in the early 80s.
Yeah.
The cost of the machine, because it was still patented, my dad, I remember him saying, cost more than an Eldorado Cadillac at that time, which everybody thought my dad was crazy for buying. But because it had such great benefit for him is why he bought it.
Yeah.
And then the patients that have benefited
Oh.
for that piece of equipment
Absolutely.
that we take for granted because it's just part of our system,
Yep.
It's very unique.
Well, and our system has 5 major components, and you elaborated on some of those.
Go for it.
So we have what we call flexibility therapy that
Right.
we use. And so initially, before you get onto the decompression machine, you lay on a table that initiates a treatment called flexion distraction. So flexion is when you bend the spine open, and distraction is when you stretch it at the same time. And so we use a vibrational piece of equipment called a vasopneumatic device. As the patient is flexing and distracting, we use it on the spine, on each spinal segment, to loosen up the segments specifically before they get onto the decompression machine.
Correct.
And of course, we have our decompression machine, as we've talked about before. We have the IQ instrument adjusting and all the other types of adjustments we use to treat the patient chiropractically. And then we also have the laser, the Arconia laser that Dr. Jim mentioned, that helps reduce inflammation and help the healing of the disc at the cellular level.
Correct.
I know you elaborated on that in earlier episodes, and we'll get into that again more down the road when we talk about the MedX.
Sure.
And then we have also nutritional support
Correct.
to help with the disc to heal, to help promote the diffusion process so that the disc that's compressed and loses some of its water can help regain that. And then the last part of that, of course, the strengthening,
Correct.
MedX strengthening. So if you've got bones that are weak or damaged, you're also going to have muscles that are weak and damaged. So
Right.
they need to be strengthened
Right.
very specifically. And when we get into the MedX equipment, you'll understand how awesome this piece of machinery is.
Yeah.
And then the last part of that is, of course, us coaching and treating the patients through the process. And
Right.
so this system has developed over the 20 years we've been doing it.
Yeah, and it'll continue to develop as we find new technology
Yes.
and new things that have benefit. We'll add that to the program.
Yes.
But it's pretty good right now.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we'll even do better later. We'll see.
Absolutely. Yeah. So couldn't be more happier.
Couldn't be happier. Me
And
too.
a lot of the patients that you'll hear what they say, and,
Right.
and we can go from there.
Every one of those pieces that we just talked about are available on our website in video form.
Yes.
So powellchiropracticclinic.com, and then you go to the disc recovery program. Every aspect is video based, so you can watch all of this stuff in action and
Yeah.
see where it fits for you and if that's something that you're interested in.
Absolutely. And a lot of our patients here, we put together little flyers that have QR codes. Those are huge, that you can just scan with your phone, because that's a wonderful media that people use nowadays to see those same videos.
Correct.
Yeah. So
So we talked a little bit about how chronic pain changes the person's brain.
yes.
As you remove the chronic pain, what we look for first is your smile to return.
Yes.
The person that comes in that has no happiness in their life, no peace,
Yes.
within a short period of time, very commonly finds that peace and that happiness here. So that first thing we look for is that smile.
Absolutely.
We know when that happens, the brain has the ability to get back to where you were from before.
That's right.
Rewire, if you will, because the chronic pain being relieved, the body heals itself.
That's right. I mean, and we talk about computers. Well, the bodies is the master computer.
Correct.
The master system, the brain, the spinal cord, which we describe as the central nervous system. That's what we directly impact, just
Right.
by moving some bones a little bit.
Yeah.
And I wanted to elaborate earlier too, when we talked about the very specific taps and line of direction that this instrument provides. When we move a bone back into position, we're not talking inches, we're talking millimeters.
Correct.
And when a bone is pressuring a nerve, if we move it a millimeter off that nerve, it
Yep.
could make the difference between constant pain and now constant relief.
Correct.
Yeah, and so it doesn't have to be a lot.
So I do want to cut to the testimonial aspect so you can hear from a patient that has had this care and has had relief. And it's always good to hear that from the person.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go ahead and go to that right
Yeah.
now.
So Dr. Jim recommended a program consisting of spinal decompression, regular chiropractic adjustments, and at-home use of a couple of stretching exercises. I came for about a month, and after about a month, so two treatments a month roughly, I started to notice a significant improvement, and the number of headache days I had per month dropped from 8 to 10 to maybe 3 or 4. I still do come in for regular maintenance, anywhere from once to twice a month, but that's more just because I feel better overall after having an adjustment. But migraine headaches have completely gone, so I maybe get a maximum of 1 headache every couple months now. I actually just stopped taking all the different medications that I was on before, so didn't refill the prescription, didn't go back to any of those doctors that I'd been seeing. One is a neurologist, one is a GP, because I didn't need to take them anymore. I would recommend giving chiropractic a try. I mean, nothing had a lasting impact on my migraines like chiropractic did. It's not something that in the moment is going to fix a migraine headache, but treatment over the course of a month to 6 weeks, and then maintenance treatment to make sure that I was keeping things in alignment has solved the problem for me. And I think the doctors and the staff here made a significant improvement in my quality of life.
How cool is that? Amazing.
Yep. You can't replace that. You know?
No.
That's the public talking right there.
Health returning.
Yeah.
Life returning.
That's why we do what we do.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we'd like to encourage you to attend our next podcast, episode 5. It's just not another adjustment. So we'll be excited to share that information with you shortly.
Yes. You don't like it? Tough.
Powell Chiropractic Clinic introduces Discovery, the alternative to back surgery. The advanced Discovery protocols created in 2006 by the doctors at Powell Chiropractic Clinic are healthy and effective ways to avoid surgery and relieve pain. Innovators in chiropractic care, Dr. Jim Powell and Dr. Walter Null invite you to live pain-free, drug-free. Call today for a free no-cost consultation and preliminary examination. Powell Chiropractic Clinic, located on Munson Street Northwest in Belden Village and at powellchiropractic.com.